Hello guys and welcome to Ezzi-UK, and today I thought I'd hop into the test server and have a look at the new Japanese heavy tanks. This is a completely new tech tree. This tech tree involves many different kinds of heavy tanks, starting at tier 3 all the way up to tier 10, and not excluding a tier 2 medium just to fill in the gap between the first tank and the third tier. So if we have a quick look at the tech tree, this is the old Japanese tech tree here, all the mediums, and then you've got a few light tanks. Well, now we've got the Igo and the Type 91 heavy tank at tier 3, then we've got the Type 95, the OI experimental at tier 5, then we've got the OI at tier 6, the Oni at tier 7, the Oho at tier 8, the Type 4 at tier 9, and the Type 5 Heavy at tier 10. So let's have a quick look at the tanks. This is the tier 2 medium tank, the Type 89. We've got the tier 3, the start of the heavy line, the Type 91, which is absolutely horrifically awful looking. We've got the Type 95 Heavy, which is very similar to the previous one, and this is at tier 4. OI Experimental, which is a big step up at tier 5. It's just basically a load of boilerplates bolted together and a massive tank with a half decent turret and gun. After this we get the the OI, sorry, which is very similar, just larger and slightly more heavily armoured. And it does have 150mm of frontal hull armor, which is double to what the last tank has. And this tank is humongous, especially compared with the Cromwell B at tier 6. Look how small that tank is, and then we'll just skip back to this one, and it's huge. The Oni is a taller, not so wide tank, even more ugly. This is at tier 7, so it's quite a good tank, this one actually. I do enjoy playing this one more than the others. We've got the Oho, which is just basically the same. It's just shorter, longer, slightly wider, a bit of track here and there, and it's slightly more detailed model, but yet again it's just basically a box with tracks. Then tier 9, we do have the Type 4 Heavy. Very similar in design, slightly more sloped edges here and there, a different turret, an extended engine deck at the back, which is level with the middle of the tank, which is very strange compared to the rest of the tanks. And then at tier 10 we have this, which is the Type 5 Heavy. So this is the tank that I'm going to mostly look at in this video today. I think it actually might be the only tank I'll look at, because I don't have time to look at the rest of them from tier 2 up to tier 10. So let's have a look at this tank. We've got 6 crew members, 2 loaders, radio operator, driver, gunner, commander. Standard layout for a large tank. Simple 140mm AP rounds, then you've got the premium AP and the HE. Normal has about 200 and 200 and something millimeters of penetration, anywhere between the two values shown. Armor piercing obviously has a lot more penetration, similar values in damage to the standard AP, and then we've got normal high explosive or HE, which has a lot more damage but very little penetration. Currently I've got a full 100% crew, rammer, coated optics, vents and everything to increase the loading of this whopping great 140mm cannon. So if we look at the stats of this gun, it's 140mm, about 3 rounds per minute, average penetration, yeah, about the 250 mark for AP, 280 for armor AP premium. About 600 damage average. The accuracy is quite good for such a large gun at 0.4 meters at 100 meters. 2.5 second aiming time, which is very good. If we just have a look at the gun, it does weigh quite a bit. But anyway, The turret 260mm at the front, 210mm on the side and 200 on the rear. The traverse speed is only 18 degrees per second and the view range is about 400 meters, which is, I guess, okay for such a large tank. Now if we have a look at the engine, 1200 horsepower, which is quite a bit of power, but then again this tank does weigh 150 tons. Traverse speed of the tracks, 22 degrees per second. The radio signal range, 750 meters. The frontal armor on this tank is nicely sloped, which means that you can bounce quite a few shots. Sides and rear are just flat objects. The side of the tank is 140mm, whereas the rear is 150. The front of the tank is similar to the front of the turret with 260mm of armor, but what is strange is it's 150mm on the rear, but the sides are 140. The sides near the track here, I guess, will act like spaced armor, which means high explosive and heat shells will struggle to penetrate from the side. The commander's hatch isn't exactly a weak spot to shoot at, it's quite a strong hatch, meaning that you're going to struggle. So what I tend to aim at on this tank is away from the commander's hatch, and I aim at these two sort of kind of viewports on the side of the tank. They're definitely weak spots you'll penetrate every time. I also aim at this slight lower plate here, which is quite a nice place to shoot at if the tank is going up a hill and you can shoot underneath. Also shoot through the front sprocket on the tank and you should penetrate as well. But this tank is a tough nut to crack. But anyway, if we have a look at the German tanks, which is quite similar to, so we've got the Maus and the E100, the statistics are remarkably similar all around. So as you can see, hit points 3000 on the Maus, 2700 on the E100, 2800, so it hits the middle ground for that. Weight, 190 tons approximately, and about 130 tons for the E100. This is 150, yet again in the middle. Engine power 1750, 1200, 1200, so the same as the E100. Top speed of 20 km per hour on the Maus, 30 on the E100, 25 on this one, in the middle again. Traverse speed on the Maus is 15 degrees per second, E100 22, Type 5 22. Hull on the Maus, armor wise 200, 185, 160, so the sides and rear are more than on the Type 5, whereas the E100 has same rear armor, thinner frontal armor and thinner side armor. Turret armor 240, 210, 210, which is quite similar to the Type 5. E100 250, 150, 150, which is less, so yet again the Type 5 hits it in the middle. Standard shell damage is the same on both E100 and Maus if you have the stock gun on the E100, and that is very, very similar to the gun stats on the Type 5. Shell penetration, very similar yet again, a little bit more on the Type 5. Rate of fire, 4 rounds per minute, 4 rounds per minute, but if the E100 has a larger gun, it's much lower, so yet again. The tank appears to be in the middle ground between the E100 and the Maus, so it's sort of a gap in the middle, even though it's a larger tank in height. So let's have a pop into a couple of battles. I'll have a look at a desert, city and a countryside map so you guys can have a look at this tank. So guys, here we are, the second game I ever played in this tank. As you can see, it is the largest tank in the game. It's larger than the Mauser, it's larger than an E100. It is huge. It does also mean that it's got a large silhouette and it's a nice juicy target for artillery, and artillery, basically anybody who wants to shoot at you will just shoot at you. You're a lovely big juicy target, which means that even though I'm on the test server, and everybody's shooting APCR and premium ammo, it does mean that you're still going to get targeted, you're still going to get penetrated. But anyway, just skipped up to the top of the hill there. Just skip the video forwards a bit further and I'll get to you guys some game footage. Not too sure what that is on the side of that guy's tank, but I've never seen that on the side of a British tank before, so maybe it's a new emblem, I don't really know, so you guys will have to let me know in the comments. So anyway, the team's at the top of the hill, all the other heavies, and you can just see the sheer size and enormity of this tank against the side of this E100, the Jagdpanzer E100. He just spotted somebody, big hit into the side of that T110, and I just finish him off with my nice 140mm cannon. So I'll carry on trying to head up to the top of the hill, and then I thought I ought to go and fight with the Mals, seeing as we're both quite good tanks, big heavy monsters. Maybe scare the enemy away, I don't really know. So, just come alongside the Mauser there, just to show you guys the sheer enormity of this tank. It's longer and wider and taller than the Maus. It's just humongous. Just get forward again to this point where I get hit by artillery. And there you go. The artillery doesn't do maximum damage, he hits near me and gets splash damage, but because I don't have a spore liner installed, and if I was in another ordinary tank I would have had quite a bit of module damage. But this tank has a fair amount of spaced armour at the side, and it has the tracks protecting the internal vital parts of the tank. As well as this, the tank's armour is pretty thick and it's quite resistant to the damage from high explosive shells, and the tracks also have a very high HP pool. This does mean that smaller tanks in lower tiers may need 2, even 3 shots to track you, but some of the larger tanks only need 1. So anyway, we'll fast forward again. So here we are guys, we're coming to the end of the game now. I've been ammo racked by an AP shell, I think it was, from the, I think it was the FV215B 183mm. That gun will just rip this thing to shreds, but then again it rips every tank to shreds. I've played in the Foch against this tank, the Foch 155. I did struggle to penetrate the front of this tank without premium ammunition. I did get 1 shot through out of 6, but that was because I had a lucky shot and hit a weak spot. You know, the 2 ports on either side of the turret. I managed to actually scrape one of those with a round and cause some damage. So yeah, I'll follow the rest of my team around the lake. Try and take a few shots at the Waffenträger, but this is the end of the game, and the problem with this tank is because it's big, slow, also ugly, it's hard to get the last targets left on the enemy team. It was at this point of the video where I was going to show you guys some more gameplay from the World of Tanks test server, but my game client decided to crash. Turns out it had a virus infecting my computer, so I've had to delete it, and I'm currently re-downloading it, which means that I can't show you guys any more gameplay. So I hope the one game that I did have has helped you guys see what the tank is like and is useful. Just got a few images up now of all the different tanks in HD renders. I'd also like to say that the stats that I have showed you are subject to change, seeing as it is the test server, which does mean that the tank will be better, worse, or it could even be taken out the game completely. I don't really know what they do at Wargaming, they just seem to do things randomly. But yeah, I hope this review video allows you guys to have a look at the new tanks. I hope it's useful. I hope you do like the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment in the section below, and also I will leave a link to the client download for the test server so you guys can have a go in the tanks yourselves. So Anyway guys, that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave a link in the description below for the test server download, so you guys can all go and have a go at that. And basically, yeah, that's it. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time.